Everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content here on my channel. Anything you could do to help me out is greatly appreciated, so definitely hit that like and subscribe button. That does a lot for the YouTube algorithm and it helps me grow the channel. So I wanted to do, I know this is a few days late here, but I wanted to do a Star Wars The Bad Batch Episode 4 for Season 1 review of the episode entitled Cornered. There's not a whole lot here I could say without going into spoilers, but I'll say a few things up front and then I'll go into spoilers after that. So if you've not seen the episode yet, don't worry about me ruining it for you here. I thought it was a good episode, but I am noticing more and more and more how this show is taking a lot of I don't know, cues, you might say, from The Mandalorian. This has definitely got a lot of Mandalorian vibes to it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, especially when it comes to Hunter and Omega. There's a lot of Mando Grogu type things going on here when it comes to how they're building their relationship, and Hunter is growing attached to Omega clearly. So it's almost like a Star Wars trope at this point, where an older character comes across a younger character who could be even a child, and they get a bond, and they have a relationship. I mean, Anakin did it with Ahsoka. We had Grogu or Mando and Grogu, obviously. And now we have Hunter and Omega. And of course Kanan and Ezra in Rebels. There's a lot of that going on, especially basically every animated series they've done so far. So it's definitely I don't know what you call it. It's something that works, no doubt, for Star Wars. So, and they're going back to the well again here. If anything, that could be a bit of a criticism even about the fact that they keep wanting to go back to the same type of storytelling. But hey, if it works, it works. You might as well stick to what works, right? So in that case, they're doing a good job with it here. Obviously, this episode again features the question of who is Omega. What is it that everybody wants from her? What is it she was designed for? What was it she was created for? That is the central question of this season so far. And obviously now we have people who want to get her. We don't know who, but there was a bounty put out on her in this episode. That's not really a spoiler, but I'm not going to tell you who was involved or anything like that until I get to the spoiler section, but there is something about her. We don't know what it is. And obviously that's another Star Wars trope, is what is it about this young one? What is it? What is the importance? So that is always the mystery in the Star Wars franchise a lot of times. And in that regard, they're doing a good job of sticking true to the series. A lot of people are going to look at this kind of like as another filler episode. But again, if it's anything like The Mandalorian, the filler episodes are not going to be filler. They may appear that way at the time, but a lot of times by the end of the season or even the series, as it continues to progress, those filler episodes, you look back and realize, oh, that's why that happened. It's not always a filler after all. So I'm sure there's a lot of info in all these episodes that are going to tie together and blend into the season finale or whatever it might be, that is going to make a lot of sense. So I preach patience when it comes to things like this, especially with TV series that are long form formats. So definitely give it a chance. But I'm going to get into the spoiler section of the episode now. So if you've not seen the episode, please turn off this video right now and then come back after you've seen it, and I'll talk about all the spoilers, and you can join us then for that discussion. So, Cornered, this episode, the big thing about it was we got the introduction to, if you've seen The Mandalorian Season 2, we get the introduction to the animated early version of Ming-Na Wen's character, Fennec Shand. She debuts in episode 4 here of The Bad Batch, and we knew that Ming-Na Wen was going to be coming back to voice this character for The Bad Batch, and again, she plays the character well. There's obviously, this being, a lot of years, I don't know how many years it would be. It's probably at least 20-some years between this and the Mandalorian Season 2. It's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. There's about 19 years between this and look. So yeah, we're probably looking at about 24 years, somewhere in there, maybe 25 years in between. So we get a Fennec Shand that is different to some degree. I mean, there's a lot of things about Fennec Shand that are the same in Mandalorian Season 2 than this show, but obviously she's a much younger version of her character here. But she is a bounty hunter at this point, and I mean, she's kind of doing those sort of things in Mando as well. But we have not. In Mandalorian season 2, she talks about how Boba Fett saved her life, and she is indebted to him, and she shows the fact that her midsection is robotic, so she's been put back together, so to speak. So I think in this series we could find out what happened there, and maybe how Boba Fett saved her. We could be getting a backstory of sorts between these two characters. We've not seen Boba Fett in this series yet. I think that could be on the horizon at some point. Maybe not in season 1, but eventually. And of course, I kind of hope they do that, because one of the things I wanted the Bad Batch to do was tie up some of the loose ends that the Clone Wars series could not do because they were canceled around the time Disney bought out Lucasfilm. And one of the things the Clone Wars did not tie up was how Boba Fett got his armor, how he got Slave One back from Hondo Ohnaka, both of which are still around in this timeline as of right now, because we see Hondo in Star Wars Rebels. So somewhere between the end of Clone Wars and Rebels, Boba Fett gets Slave One back. And of course, we find out in Mandalorian that his armor was Jango's, or it was his father's. But of course, Jango's helmet was destroyed in the Clone Wars series, so I kind of wonder if maybe he just had another helmet or something, and then Boba took that helmet. I don't know. But regardless, there's a lot of Boba Fett backstory that we've not really gotten outside of when he was younger and starting to go on bounty hunter missions in Clone Wars. I'm hoping we get more of that in the Bad Batch, and they tie up that loose end, and obviously it will tie into the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian and all this stuff too, so it'll be much more seamless, and it will all connect together by the time it's all finished. So I hope that that's where they're going with this part of the story anyway, with Fennec Shand and Boba. But as for Fennec Shand, she's clearly working for somebody here, and she's gotten a bounty that's been put out on Omega's head. Well, not. It sounds like they want her alive, not really, killed. But she's been sent to go after her. And she comes off as a bit of a villain here. Fennec Shand does, but it depends on who she's working for. I don't think it's Boba Fett, because, like I said, I don't know if she really meets Boba until Boba saves her life. But it could be. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but she's definitely got some sort of a buyer or something involving here, all this here. So, I mean, I'm intrigued by that alone. And of course, I mentioned in last week's video how this whole thing, I wonder if it's going to lead like a clones versus the Empire type thing. I mean, Fennec could be working for the Empire. She could be working for the Kaminoans. Because they're looking for Omega, who left their facility with Hunter and the rest of the Bad Batch. So there's a lot of moving parts right now, and trying to figure out where exactly this story is going to be going in the future. I mean, the Bad Batch took a little bit of a backseat to this. I mean, obviously Hunter is up in the forefront here more than the rest of them, because of his relationship with Omega and how they're developing that father-daughter bond almost, or at least the affinity Hunter has for Omega, being she's a young child. And of course, he takes her along with him when he goes into town, because they have to land on Pantora because they have to get more food and rations because they're running out. They fixed their ship in the last one, and now they're out of food. So again, kind of a Mandalorian trope where you have to constantly go on these side missions to other planets because you need something to get to the next level of this story here. So it's kind of the same sort of element that they've been doing, and it's been working great for the Mandalorian. So there's no reason, and Dave Filoni is behind both of them to a degree, so it makes sense that, I mean, I just hope that we don't get stuck with the same Star Wars story all the time. So I do think that they're going to branch out away from that eventually, but it's a good place to start. The Bad Batch. We're only 4 episodes in, so I think they said only a quarter into the season, so we've still got 12 episodes to go. So I have no doubt that they're going to move forward and tell more of what's going on as we progress here, but I'm definitely looking forward to see where they go. This was a good episode, like I said. I hate that we got to wait a week in between. It's only like 25 minutes per episode, but they're definitely well told. The animation's brilliant, and let's talk about the soundtrack for a little bit here. Kevin Kiner, this guy. If you don't know who Kevin Kiner is the composer for Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and now Star Wars The Bad Batch. And this guy has done amazing work. Outside of John Williams himself, who did the movies for Star Wars, clearly, Kevin Kiner has taken what John Williams has done, and he's only amplified it and made things his own, and he has been a great asset to Lucasfilm and Star Wars. And I think if they use him moving forward, especially if John Williams decides he doesn't want to come back which I believe he said episode 9 was going to be his last Star Wars film that he scores. Kevin Kiner, I think, is the heir apparent, so to speak. He should be the guy who scores the movies going forward, if you ask my humble opinion about it. But I know there's been a few other composers who I think did Rogue One and things like that. So obviously, I think whoever takes over is going to be great. But Kevin Kiner deserves all the credit in the world for his animated work. So I think you definitely ought to, check out, or maybe give him a look when it comes time to doing the movies. But the real question is here, what do you guys think about Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 4? Please comment down below. Let me know. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content on this channel. And by doing so, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe as well. It helps my channel out a lot if you guys do that for me. And until my next time, or until my next video, guys, take care.
Turn it on.